Well, enrollment boomed and so did test scores. So goes the story for many Catholic schools that kept their doors open during the coronavirus pandemic. But the report card was not the same across the board. This week, the National Assessment of Educational Progress revealed that math grades among 4th and 8th graders fell in nearly every state, and reading dipped on the national exam. For many, the news is confirmation that closed-door school policies during the pandemic hurt millions of students. And tonight we're joined by Thomas Carroll, Superintendent of Catholic Schools in the Archdiocese of Boston. Thomas, great to see you again. I know that you were pretty outspoken early on about the need for schools to stay open. What's your reaction to this national assessment, and are you surprised?
Yeah, I'm surprised by the depth of the losses that have been seen in the public schools. I'm not surprised that the Catholic schools held their own and really outperformed every single state in the country, and are even higher among for Hispanic achievement and for anyone who's low income as measured by the federal free and reduced school lunch program. So our core constituencies, serving the poor and the marginalized, we just completely knocked it out of the park. And across the board, if you look at Catholic schools as a state and stacked them up against the other 50 states, we have 1.6 million students in Catholic schools. We outpaced every single state across the board. So and I think it's not a mystery why. We showed up and the other side didn't. So when we had a choice and whether, as soon as we were able to after the first few months, to go back to live instructions to welcome the children back, Catholic schools all across the country, wherever they were able to, and in Massachusetts, we were able to right away. We just reopened our schools, welcomed the kids back with open arms, and got back to the work of making sure that they got an excellent education in addition to formation as Catholics.
Yeah, and I know that was so important to you. Can you kind of take us back to that time? You know, why did you decide to get things going, get those students back in school while others didn't?
For us, it wasn't really a decision. Every single person involved, the parents, the students, the teachers, the school leaders, the cardinals and bishops, everybody wanted the kids back in school because everybody knew that they needed to be back with their friends and they needed to be back with their teachers, both for the social and emotional health, but also we continuously score really well in terms of reading and math and science. And we wanted to make sure that those gains were not lost. And we thought we could safely keep the kids back in despite COVID. And so we were able to keep the kids safe, but we were also to make sure that they got the education that they deserved. And it worked out really well. The kids did fantastically from a health perspective and academically. I really want to congratulate all the teachers. They really were the frontline workers in school after school. They put themselves not knowing how this COVID thing was going to play out. They showed up not knowing whether it would take everybody down and made sure that the kids got what they needed. And the payoff for that is really obvious when you look at these National Assessment of Education Progress Report Card, because our success stands in striking failure to the people who simply didn't open their doors to children for a year or more. And it had a devastating impact. In many states, kids lost as much as a year of progress in reading and math, particularly hit hard in math, but they also slid back in reading. Those kinds of devastating results are going to take years and years and years to recover from. And that not only is very damaging to the children, but it's going to turn a lot of those schools into remediation factors. They can't focus on excellence because they have so much ground to make up for. And that's why I think a lot of parents intuitively knew that. And so we got in Boston after it was clear we were opening and the public schools were not. We got an influx of 4,400 kids. Following year, we got another 1,300, and we've been able to keep all of those kids and more. So I think a lot of the parents realized what was going to happen, and the report card that came out proved what we all feared. And I'm not happy at all that this happened in the public schools. I think it was avoidable, and I think the teachers' unions made a judgment that, frankly, I think a lot of the unionized teaching rank and file teachers didn't agree with when it was made, which was if anybody didn't want to go back, then nobody was going to go back on the public school side. It was a tragic mistake that's going to have very long consequences for these children. And my heart goes out to the families and to these children. And Catholic schools remain with our arms open to anybody who wants to enter our schools, because we've proven we get it done. We create a sense of community, and at the same time, we're forming students in virtue.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Thomas, wish we had more time to talk. Unfortunately, we have to leave it right there. Thank you so much for speaking with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Good to see you again.